Good afternoon, everyone. Mariposa here. Today I'm going to roast a chicken, and I wanted to start off by showing you the first thing I do before I roast a chicken. What I do is I take a non-salted stick of butter and I season it with herbs and spices. And then I let it sit and kind of absorb all that flavor for about an hour before I then go in and do all the things I need to do to make that roasted chicken very special. Another thing I want to tell you all real quick is that everything that I do here, none of it is scripted. It's just kind of me coming in front of you. So when I do have my mess ups, it's just because for the most part I'm just winging it. But I'm having a good time. It's a Sunday afternoon. And one other thing that I wanted to share with you all is that it's a special day for me because 2 years ago today, Sunday, October the 7th, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, metastatic, invasive, blah, 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 whatever. I'm here today, 2 years later, and I'm happy to be cooking and to be sharing these wonderful things that just make life awesome. So let's go ahead and get started real quick. Okay, so these are the spices that I use. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can tell you. But we've got sage, thyme, onion powder, parsley, rosemary, paprika, garlic powder, some kosher salt, and some celery salt. I add all of these things to a softened stick of butter, and then I use my pastry cutter. This is what I use when I make my tortillas, you know. So yes, this is not a Mexican dish today, but it is my roasted chicken that I'm sharing with you because this is just a tried and true recipe. So here we go. First of all, it is a teaspoon of sage, a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of parsley, half a teaspoon of rosemary, 2 teaspoons, a teaspoon and a half of paprika, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, a teaspoon of kosher salt, and a teaspoon of celery salt. So let's go ahead and just kind of mix these all together. I'm going to grab my rosemary. Again, my pastry cutter will probably break it down a little bit more, but you know, this is dried rosemary. And it's dry because right now I don't have my garden going because I am in transition. I am in the middle of buying a home and it's some wheeling and dealing going on. But anyway, so it's store-bought rosemary, but that's okay. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll take all of this and I will add it to this softened stick of butter. Just kind of put that all on top. And then I take my pastry cutter and I just kind of start blending everything in. And it's a little bit of a process, but I tell you what, this is so worth it. This is what you're going to use to season your chicken on the inside and out. Now, this process you're looking at is something that I kind of came up with over the years of looking at recipes and going, you know, these are the things that make a chicken good, a turkey good, whatever. By the way, I do the same thing with turkey as well, along with a couple other things, but we'll talk about that later, closer to the holidays. Because yes, I think it's finally time that I share with you my Thanksgiving recipes. But anyway, they kept talking about all these things you need to use with your turkey, and I just thought, why don't I just combine everything in advance, you know, into my butter that I use to help season and moisturize my chicken, you know. So I just thought, let me do this, combine it all, and then let it sit and kind of saturate itself for about an hour or so. And then I put it in my chicken all together instead of just kind of trying to sprinkle or apply everything in individually. But I'll tell you what, you can make this in advance and keep it in the fridge. Make a couple of sticks of this. This is not only good for this, but you can modify it a little bit and use it to season bread if you're going to, you know, make some kind of a seasoned garlic bread or something. It's for, gosh, any poultry at all that you want to use. Not only that, as it's cooking, All of these flavors, you know, they drip out of the chicken or whatever um, bird you're roasting, and they make the most awesome gravy. I know, gravy, it's fat and whatnot, but oh my gosh, when you add it to everything else, it is just so absolutely wonderful. So as you can see here, everything is combined. It's all together. And yes, I do use my hands. There's two reasons I do this. For one, I just want to make sure that it gets completely blended, and I can then go back and kind of reshape it. And it's not a hassle, you know, to wash your hands. The other reason why it's so fun to do it this way is because at the end you kind of get to go, like that, and taste it, and you get to realize what you're in for as far as when your meal is done. Because if this is what this tastes like right now, imagine when it's inside of a roasted chicken and it's getting ready to go into your belly. Oh my gosh. So I'm using wax paper here, folks, and now that I've got everything blended, I'm just going to go ahead and seal it up and put it back in the fridge so it can kind of get all the flavors saturated together, okay? So that's step one of my roasted chicken. Again, you can do this a day or two in advance. Get several of them ready and just have them sitting in the fridge waiting for the day you're ready to use them, okay? This is my seasoned butter. There you go.